Welcome back. We are in Access Chapter 1. We are working on the Bavant Publishing Database, and this is going to be Part 4. And we're beginning on page AC40. And in this section, we're going to actually be doing a query. A query are simply questions, the answers to which are in the database. So by asking a question to Access, that is called a query. And that is what makes Access so powerful. So I'm going to go ahead and close the table. And we're going to be using the Simple Query Wizard to create a query. We want to create a query the Bavant Publishing might use to obtain financial information from its customers. We want it to display the number, name, amount paid, current due, returns, and book rep of all of its customers. So to do that, we're going to make sure we are clicked once on the customer table so that it is selected. We are going to go to Create. Every time we do a query, we're going to use the Create tab. We're going to go to Query Wizard. We want a simple query wizard, so hit OK. And here it's going to show us our table, so if we had accidentally selected the wrong one, we could choose the right one. We want the customer table, and here is all the fields that are available. All we have to do is we can either double click on them to move them over to the selected area, or we can click once and hit the arrow. If we wanted all of them, we could hit this and it would move them all over. If we get them over here and we didn't want them, we can actually move them back. But it is important to put them in the correct order of how we want them displayed. It makes things a lot easier. So we are going to want to take the customer number, the customer name. You'll notice as you click on them and move them over here, they are no longer over here. So we've got the number, the name. We want amount paid. So we're going to skip down to amount paid, current due, returns, and book rep number. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different fields that we want included. We did not take their address information. So we're going to hit Next. This one, do we want detailed or summary? We're going to choose that we want the detail option, so we're going to show every field of every record. Go ahead and hit Next. What do you want to name our query? We're going to name it Customer Query, which is exactly what it has. Do we want to open it to view it, or do we want to modify it? We are just going to go ahead and we want to leave it on Open. So we're going to hit Finish. We are now going to see this. So here we can see we've got our customer number, their name, amount paid, current due, returns, and book rep. So it took out all the address information that we did not want to see because we were dealing with the financial part. You'll also notice that over here now we have a new section called Queries, and we have our customer query listed. Okay, we're going to go ahead and just close it. Don't freak out on me. When you close it, it's already saved. So it saves automatically. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to use a criterion in a query. So a criterion is basically a criteria to further limit or restrict the results of the query. For example, we want to include only those customers who have a book rep of 53. So we're going to add a criteria of 53. So to do that, we're going to right-click on our customer query. Make sure you're not in the table section. You want the customer query. We're going to choose Open into the Design View. So Design View is going to show it like this. If we just opened it, we would only see the results. And in here, you can see, you can actually make this bigger if you need to. This is going to show you everything that's in the customer table, and down here are all the fields that we have selected, and there's different options you can do to those. The top row is the field name. The table, that's the table it came from. Sort, if you wanted to do some sorting of it, you could. Show, you're going to put a check mark in here if you want to show that on your results. If you didn't want to show it, you could uncheck it. Criteria is how we're going to limit it. And we can have a couple different options for criteria. So the first one's going to be a simple one. We are wanting to limit this to people who have book rep number 53, so we're going to go over to the book rep column, go down to the criteria row, make sure you're on the row with criteria, that's right underneath the check mark, and you have to do this correctly, type 53. If you do not type this correctly, it will not show you the correct results. And we're going to hit run. Run is how you're going to see what the results are. It's the one with the red exclamation point. And we hit run. You should see that there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different customers, and they all have book rep number 53. Okay. What I want you to do here is, because we have limited this, if we closed it right now and did not save it, you're not going to see that we just did book rep number 53, which is what the book says to do. But I need to know that you guys did this. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit File, Save As. We want to save it as an object, Save Object As, Save Object As, and then hit Save As. Okay, and we're going to name it Customer Query space 53. Okay, this is not in your book, but this is important so that I know that you actually did the query to sort for the criteria of just book rep 53. So go ahead and type that in and hit OK. Now you'll notice you have Customer Query 53. Okay, we can now close this. If we wanted to print the results of a query, all we have to do is, if I'm on Customer Query, I can go to File, Print, Print Preview. It's going to show me the results of this. Okay. Again, you would always want to make sure that it's all showing on one page. This looks like it is, so we would be good. So we're going to go ahead and close the Print Preview window. Okay, the next thing we're going to do on page 45 is now we're going to create a form. In Datasheet View, you can view many records at once, but if there are many fields, however, sometimes the fields in each record might not all be visible at once. So a form view is what you're basically used to filling out if you were going to go online and fill out some kind of a form. It's more like a paper form. So we're going to select our customer table, make sure you're in the table group, create, because everything we create is in the create area. This time we're going to choose form, right here, form. Just use the regular form, not the form design. So we're going to do form. This is super easy. Here is our customer form. It's going to show us all the different fields. We could actually go through here and look at them by hitting the arrow at the bottom. And when you get to the end, it would give you a blank one. Okay, we want to go ahead and save our form. So we're going to go to the Save button. It's going to say, what do you want to name this? We want to name it Customer Form. Customer Form, and hit OK. Okay, once you did that, you could actually go through then, and whenever you entered a new customer, just do Customer Form. All right, we're going to close that one. And now we're going to look at a report. So a report is basically the same information that we have in a table or a query, but it's going to look nicer. So we're going to make sure our customer table is selected, create, and we're going to go to report. Here is the report. There's a couple different ones. There's blank and report design and report wizard. We're just choosing the regular report. It's going to bring up the report showing absolutely everything that we had in that table. Okay, we're going to name this one Customer Financial Report. So we're going to hit Save. And we want to name it Customer Financial Report. And hit OK. We can then close the report. Next, we're going to modify the report column headings and resize some of them. So now down here, we want to make sure we're in the report group, the Customer Financial Report. I can right click it and I'm going to do it in the layout view. Okay, it's just going to bring it back up for us. We want to change the title, so where it has customer, we can actually double click in that box that has customer. And we're going to put in the title, Customer Financial Report. Okay, that's going to name it Customer Financial Report. If you click off of it, it changes the title. You'll notice it already has the date and everything for us. There are some columns that we don't want to include. So this here can get a little trickier. We do not want to see all their address information, so I'm going to click on Street. I'm going to hold down my Shift key, and I'm going to click the word City, State, and Postal Code. Now, unlike Excel, I did not select the whole column. I only selected the column headings. Okay, then I'm going to go to Arrange. So up here in the Arrange area, and I am going to select, this is really important, select column, then it will select the whole column. I know that seems like a complicated step, but that's the way you have to do it. You have to select the column heading, then go to Arrange and select the columns underneath of those. Then you can just on your keyboard go ahead and hit the Delete key, and those will be gone. Okay, we want to go to the customer number field. So the CU number, we're going to double click twice so that we can get into it. And we are going to change that from our caption to actually say customer number. Okay. Okay, it spread it out in the book. It did not. So something we can do, we can actually, hold on a second. We can actually come to our bottom border and drag that, and so if it has enough room to go down by dragging on the bottom one to make it taller, it will go down to that. Okay, we want to do the same thing with book rep number, so BR number, we're going to make book rep number. Okay, and it should fit onto 2 columns. Okay, and we can also see that we can make this column here just a little bit more narrow. Oops, maybe not quite so much, so that it all fits nicely. Okay, we're going to use the same technique and we're going to resize all the other columns to the sizes that are shown. In the book. Okay, so I'm just going to make sure all my columns, oops, don't double click, but make sure that they are all about where they need to be. Okay, most of them are pretty much the same. Okay, but make sure that you're fitting on one page. This dashed line here is going to show that it's going to go onto the second page. Next, we want to add some totals to our report. So we want to know what is the total amount some of our customers, we know their individual amounts paid for the total, but we want to know a total for the amount paid. So I'm going to click on the amount paid field heading up here. Then I'm going to go to the Design tab. I'm going to come over here to the Totals button. It looks a lot like it did in Excel. I'm going to choose that one, and I'm going to choose Sum to get the sum of it. If you go down to the bottom, you will see that it appears down here. Now mine, it kind of cut it off a little bit, so I can actually click on it and then make that a little bit taller so that I can see the whole number. The other thing I'm going to want to do is where it has this page 1 of 1, it's kind of hanging off the page. If I click on it and I get the 4-headed arrow, I can drag it back so it is on the page. You don't want something hanging off of the page. Now when I did the current due, it also gave me the total for the returns. which is good because we wanted the total, sorry,